Greetings and salutations, everyone. Once again, my heartfelt apologies for the technical difficulties if you registered this morning. But you know what? All that matters is that we've sorted it out now and we have you here now. And welcome to anybody who is watching this as the replay later on. No worries. Feel free to comment, engage, let us know your thoughts and questions in the Hug Your Chaos Facebook group.
Definitely.
We're going to jump right into it.
Yes, we are.
So,
mastering your money mindset.
Welcome to Mastering Your Money Mindset. Exactly that. Who are you guys? Introduce yourselves. Let us know who you are in the comments. Chat away. Tell us who you are and where you're coming from. And you'll see on our first slide here, we have a cute little bunny surrounded by carrots.
What better way for a bunny to express its abundance?
So we've got a couple questions for you straight off. We're going to get right into it. We are going to start prodding and digging straight from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you here?
What are you seeking?
Do you even know?
What does abundance mean to you?
Throw one word out in the comments for us. When we speak of abundance, share with us, let us know what that means to you. Like I said, we have this little bunny here surrounded by carrots, and he's just died and gone to heaven. He's stoked.
Yeah. So quick introductions, guys.
And, feel free to. We're still waiting on you guys to introduce yourselves in the comments.
So who are we and why are we able to facilitate this? All right, so Ash, we've got security. Abundance to you is about security.
Right on, right. And a lot of us totally link security to abundance,
mm-hmm.
And we attach our security with abundance, and that can be part of how, why, and where we block our abundance. And that's the stuff we're going to get into today.
Absolutely. Where do these thoughts come from? So let us start by introducing ourselves. You guys know us at the moment. Mary, feel free to throw out a single word for why you're here and what this means to you.
Mm.
And if you're watching the replay, please feel free to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who are we and why are we able to facilitate a course on the money mindset?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm Chris.
And I'm Lindsay, and you guys know us of Hug Your Chaos. Some of you may not know us. Some of you may have just found us, via us advertising this webinar.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing is that, money mindset and money coaching and abundance coaching is not even what we do.
No, it's not. So why are we able to do it for you?
And the bottom line is this, you guys, we are fresh out of the trenches when it comes to rewriting your money mindset. So let us give you a little bit of history. Chris and I came together a couple years ago. We got married about 1.5 years ago. Chris was from Australia. I was living in California at the time. We met on Facebook. We came together, and 3 months after we met, I was down in Australia visiting him, spending the summer there, and happily ever after.
Mm-hmm. Exactly that.
So from the moment we came together, we both knew that we had a calling and a message to give the world. And as we've lived out our life over the last couple of years, we've tried a few different paths, and we've explored a few different, messages. And we've come to find that as we were living our lives, we realized we had strayed from our own heart path.
Yes. So ultimately, we came up with the Abundant Life Mastery System, which is a program that helps by looking at the blocks that we have put in place within our lives. And we discovered that the exact same model worked with the abundance mindset, not just abundant life mastery, which really has nothing to do with financial security. It has nothing to do with money as such, not specifically. But when we put this same model in place over the top of our blocks when it came to money, we found that it worked exactly the same way.
That's right.
It started smashing through the blocks that we were having towards money as what it did in our blocks towards our life.
And so you guys, just a few short months ago, back in last December, let me go a little bit further than that. Last December, Chris and I were in Costa Rica over Christmas. We were taking our holiday there. We took some time off work. We went down there. We traveled around a bit. And we came to some very powerful realizations while we were there. We realized that we were not happy at our jobs. We were making decent salaries. We were working for a company. We were living in Long Beach, living our lives, Monday through Friday, long hours at the office. There was, not a whole lot of respect for personal boundaries when it came to our job. We were expected to work overtime, and all of these things. And we realized that if we put half of the energy that we were pouring into our job, which was bringing someone else's dream to life, that if we put half of that energy into our own dreams, we would very quickly find our own path and our own, capability to build our dream and give our gift to the world.
Yes.
Right? And I started reading some books that were all about, taking your power back. And I realized how off the mark I was living my life. I realized that I was living a life essentially that was someone else's, idea of success. It wasn't mine. We weren't happy, and we were never going to be happy until we were giving our gift to the world. So we had a choice to make, because the thing is we were making very comfortable salaries. We could have continued to work and lived very comfortably, but we decided that it was more important to follow our own dreams. So, that came a big risk, because at that point we were faced with a decision right around March where we had to decide, were we going to sacrifice our dreams and take the risk and jump off the cliff, or were we going to keep selling our soul for the Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, bringing someone else's dream to life? And, the universe works in funny ways, and we got quite the big nudge.
Very profoundly.
and it was made obvious what our path was, and we opted to go for it. And now in that space, we weren't in the position financially. Neither one of us comes from a bunch of money. We didn't have a massive savings. We had just bought our RV that we were planning on moving into. And so it's not like we had this big pile of money, standing behind us, keeping us secure and comfortable.
Right.
It was all a very big risk.
And it's something that I need to throw in here really quickly. When you take a step like this, you don't just have your own demons that you need to overcome. You also have a lifetime of institutionalization.
That's right.
And systemic programming that you need to step outside of and overcome.
That's right.
And that is no joke.
And that is why we are just ninjas at smashing through money mindset blocks, because the work that Chris and I do when it comes to belief systems and coaching and these other, empowerment and healing modalities that we offer, we are so good at getting people to see through their own bullshit, as we've done in our own lives, that we said, you know what, we seem to cross the paths of an awful lot of people who clearly have money blocks, because, they want to do this, they want to do that, but they don't have the money, they can't afford it, there's excuses. We see them posting on Facebook where it's lack, poverty, people are always stressing, they can't pay the bills. So we said, well, why not offer something? Because we just did all of this work to change and rewire our own belief systems when it came to money. We figured, why not offer this to our peeps?
Exactly. And as I said, we discovered very quickly in our own internal work that the map we had already written with Abundant Life Mastery in terms of your life also worked very, very similarly in terms of blocks financially.
That's right.
And when we put this map in place over our own financial blocks, we very quickly came to the point where we were smashing through those blocks and creating a flow of abundance in our own lives.
Right. And that's why you should listen to us when it comes to this, because you know what? This by no means, it's not my passion to teach people how to lift their abundance blocks. My passion is chakra. My passion is healing. My passion is the stuff, the healing and the empowerment that we offer through Abundant Life Mastery. This, however, is the bridge that I'm offering you. That's why we decided to create this, because it's the bridge to bringing you to the place where you are empowered enough to be able to invest in yourself. And it's about getting you to stare in the face the way that you block yourself.
And I mean, guys, I'm deeply passionate about helping people move through their blocks, stare into the places of shadow within themselves.
That's right.
And then to be able to, with everything they've got and, with the guidance that I can offer, move through that, smash through the block, and then step out the other side of it, a little bit exhausted, but mostly exhilarated at reaching a whole new level of high. That's the path of my life. That's what I'm passionate about. So it doesn't matter to me if the blocks are money related or if they're related to something on your heart path in your life. I am very deeply passionate about helping you smash through blocks.
There's something so fulfilling to watch someone come into their own power when they realize that the power to create their own reality is very much in their grasp, and that we block ourselves. Getting to, and we always say this, guys, we don't want to create people who we have to feed. We're not trying to give you fish to eat. We, through the programs we offer, are teaching you how to fish so that you become self-sustaining and self-reliant. And then you can then in turn turn around and offer your gifts to the world. We want to be friends for life. That's great. Do we want you to be our clients for life? No, we do not. No, we do not,
Yeah, guys,
this isn't retail, and it's not a material, exchange and flow where we need you to be buying products from us. There's always going to be someone that needs empowering. So
that's the point. We don't need and want repeat clients for life. We want to empower you and then set you on your way.
Right. That's what we're creating. We don't want a dependence on us. And that's part of the reason why we decided to offer you guys this money mindset workshop and program, is because there's just really something empowering about watching people grab a hold of their life and be able to make decisions and have the financial freedom to do the things that they need to do.
Exactly that.
So,
what is the first thing that comes into your mind when we say money? Type it in the comments now.
Don't think about it.
Don't think. Just throw it out there. What's the first thing?
Type in the first thing that pops into your mind. Do you feel like an aversion? Is there what comes to mind? Because we're getting right into it and right into the work.
Guys, I can tell you for myself, my history, when somebody mentioned money, I instantly had an aversion. Now, my aversion, bills, that's a great one, Ash. You think about bills. So money to you means commitment to something beyond you.
Bills, and probably that has to do with stress.
So for myself, there was a point where I would say...
responsibility, for sure.
Yeah. I would say I absolutely hated money. If you mention money, I would have serious aversion. Now, I would write that off by saying things like, money doesn't mean anything to me.
Me too.
I'm walking a different path. I'm content living in the forest. I don't need to have money. I
don't care about material things.
Exactly that. This is what I would bring to the table when you mentioned money. To me, money was a dirty four-letter word.
Yeah, for sure.
It destroyed relationships. It broke apart families.
It drove greed.
People became greedy. People became selfish. And money was the root cause of all of this, in my mind.
Yeah, me too. I was very, I had spent my life watching the world, tear itself apart over money, watching greed and watching politics and corporate nonsense and seeing all this play out. And I realized that I had a very big aversion to money. Exactly, Ashley, you said corruption sometimes. That used to be me. Crystals aren't material things. No, I know. And I love my crystals. But yeah, I was totally like, if you said money, I was like, no, I'm good. I'm good over here. And you know what? When we really get honest with ourselves and we start digging into the beliefs, which we're going to do today, that whole story that we tell ourselves about not wanting money and the aversion to money is just an excuse to play small.
Exactly.
So
money, what we're aiming to do in this hour with you is to open up a little bit of expansion in the way that you see money.
make a little shift.
So money, we always look at with some aversion when we see it as this separate force that has its own identity that sits out there in the world. Now, we need it. We need it to pay our bills. We need it for security, as you guys have mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
We need it to be able to function in the everyday world. We don't necessarily like it, and we think that it's the cause of all evil. It's the cause of corruption. It's the cause of greed. However, what if we were to throw it out there? Think about the way that Tesla mentioned, if you wish to understand the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration.
He nailed it.
Exactly that. There is nothing in this world that is different from anything else. Now, what I mean by that is everything is energy. Everything is made of energy.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the world in that respect, and if you can wrap your mind around that, science has proven it, so there's no point in debating this topic, because this is flat out proven 100%. Even your coffee table is nothing more than energy moving in a very slow, densely packed manner.
Mm-hmm.
So if everything is energy, then money is also energy. Now think about that for a second. If you are made of energy and money is made of energy, then what is the separation or the difference between you and money?
Oh.
This is the point that we need to hammer home, and that we need to wrap our minds around if we're to completely eradicate the blocks we have. As with the Abundant Life Mastery System, when you move back along your timeline, blocks are put in place based on certain external things that happen to you along your path,
Mm-hmm.
or that happen along your path, not happen to you. Nothing happens to you. It's the same thing. There are these key markers that exist along your timeline that have formed your opinion of money. Now, if you can change your opinion so that money is no longer this external force that drives greed, that you need to pay bills, that you need for security, that is the cause of all corruption, and turn it into something that is nothing different to you. It is just energy. You are energy and it is energy.
Right on.
So it is already a part of you. What does that do to your mindset?
Can you vibe with that? Oh, Ashley, yeah, she asked, can't we just reinstate a bartering system again, right? But I mean, so exactly that. Boom. Okay, let's explore this. You just nailed it, because you know what? All a bartering system is an exchange.
Of energy.
It's an exchange. You have this, or you offer this service. I have this, or I offer this service. We are now going to trade. All is fair. Everybody leaves happy.
May trade.
The problem is that in the world today, we tend to get money and we're afraid of not having money. So we hoard our money and then we go around the world and we want everything for free. And I prompted you guys to sort of explore this with me yesterday in the video in the Facebook group, where I was asking you guys to explore why people would have a problem trading an email address for a free worksheet. Now, that to me seems like a fair trade. Okay, you're going to give me an assessment tool, and I'm going to give you an email address because I understand that you created a product, you created a thing that you're offering to share with me, so that I should give you something in return for that. The problem is that money and inflation and all of these things has just distorted this in the world today. So it's like, if yeah, right, or an item for an item, exactly. Okay, you have a shoelace and I need a shoelace, and I have a button, and you're willing to trade me for the button. Fair trade. We both walk away happy, right? But exactly that, your comment before it, you said it totally makes sense, but the money aspect is so taboo. A service for a service isn't. Exactly. Because we've created this stigma and this thing around money, like it's some, and look, money only has the value that we are taught to give it. I got a newsflash for everybody. You want to get deep? Go ahead and watch the Zeitgeist documentaries, okay? The American dollar is backed by nothing but air. The only reason the American dollar has value is because we are so programmed to believe the money has value. They used to back up money with gold. That doesn't exist anymore. We don't have any gold anymore as an American country, okay? The American dollar they're creating more money based on borrowing against negative interest, okay? And it's a bit of a thing that can make your head spin. The only reason the dollars have value is because we are programmed and we are consumers and we are taught to believe it has value.
So money...
It's an illusion. That's my point with that, was to demonstrate how much of an illusion it is. That they can print paper, tell you it's worth money, and people will kill each other over it.
So money, in terms of the way that you know it right now, is nothing more than promissory notes that have a perceived value.
Exactly.
So when you say an item for an item, or you're talking about a barter system, a system of exchange, a system of subsistence, when you're referring to the way that we have worked in the past, Bob's good at digging trenches. I need a trench dug in my yard, and you need to have this done. So you do this, Bob does that, and we all exchange services and everybody equals out. We've taken all of the guesswork out of that and created these promissory notes.
And then put price tags on everything, on what we say the value of somebody's product or service is.
But we're overcomplicating the topic by looking at it like this. Break it down to its most basic form. And if you want to remove blocks, that's what you need to do.
Yes.
The most basic format here is that money is energy.
And we are exchanging energy.
So your time is worth a certain amount. Your employer will say to you that your time is worth $10 for every hour that you give them.
And if you are saying, okay, I'm going to accept this job at this pay rate, you are saying that all your time is worth is $10 an hour.
Exactly that. Now, here's one of the things that many of the employers don't want you to necessarily know that will keep you locked in this system. And as part of block removal and breaking free of the systemized institution, this is something you need to know. There is an ocean of wealth or abundance above every single one of our heads. Mm-hmm. Now, when somebody starts a business, a company, or a corporation, what they're ultimately doing is they're putting a siphon up into that wealth. They're bringing it down to themselves, and they're divvying out little amounts of it to everybody around them and saying, okay, you're worth this, you do this for me, and I'm going to give you a little bit of it. They're only going to give you enough to keep coming back the next day.
Because they need you to be dependent on that income.
That's right.
So when you can just view it as simple as energy exchange, and this is the problem. This is why people don't want to pay people for their time and services, because we have lost the ability to put a value on our time. Now, Chris and I are very good at putting a value on our time. And you know what? Our last jobs helped us to see that, because it was expected for us to just sacrifice our life and work overtime and work, you know, all these insane hours while nobody else was there working. And we said, you know what? I value my well-being and my sanity too much to keep giving my time this way. Mm-hmm. So we were able to stop and say, you know what? No, I'm not going to work overtime unless I'm compensated. And you know what? Employers don't like that. So when you're able to start viewing that, you then become much more willing to do a fair exchange with people for their time.
Absolutely.
We're very quick as a society to put down money for a product because we have a thing. We have a tangible thing that we can walk away with, right? But then you say to someone, okay, let's go ahead and you want to pay somebody for, people think that everything we do online should be free. Oh, if it's written online, it should be free. It's an ebook, it should be free. Right? I'm sorry, the whole course should be free. Why? You know what I mean? So it's when you come down to writing books and creating content and documents, you're putting your time in. So the price tag is attached because that is an energy exchange. And that's why you'll see a lot of, metaphysical and new age, sort of business people, instead of pricing, they call it energy exchange because it's a new way of looking at it. And we do business with people all the time where we trade. I'll trade somebody crystals for a massage or crystal healing for a massage instead of paying in money, because this is fair energy exchange.
Absolutely.
So think about whether or not you guys can really get with that concept of money being energy. And it's something you're going to have to explore within yourself.
Yes. So in terms of the problems or the blocks that you have regarding money,
this
financial
is where it gets
abundance.
Fun.
Exactly. You're talking about pulling out weeds. So if you want to eradicate a weed from the garden, you need to pull it out from the root. Now, there are a lot of programs on the internet at the moment. Every second post on your Facebook wall has to do with making money. Plain and simple.
Like, look, I have an email in my inbox right now. From broke to 27,000 in 1 week. Like, yeah, okay, buddy.
These things are permeating our way of life at the moment. Now, here's the thing. Whether they work or they don't work, you will not be able to make money from them unless you eradicate the blocks or the roots of the problem within yourself and the way that you see money. So if you see money as an evil force that has a role of necessity in your life,
right,
then you are never going to make that kind of money, because you are holding it back with the blocks, with your aversion to it.
Right.
So we're not talking about another program here to show you how to make money.
No.
If you want to make money, go and read about ClickFunnels. Go and read about AdSense. Go and read
sales or marketing or something.
Go and read about affiliate programs. There are a lot of different entrepreneurial systems that will guide you as to how to make money on the internet.
But you know what? If you have money blocks, you're still going to block yourself even in those programs.
Exactly.
That's why those programs aren't going to work for everybody, because if you have money blocks, the program's not going to work for you. You're still going to be pushing the money away. That's the thing. That's what's different about what we're offering to you. We are offering you an introduction in how to get to the root of the problem, how to identify the beliefs that are blocking you. And then, you know what happens when you rewrite these beliefs and you pull the weeds out by the root, is that you get to create a new belief system, one that says that money flows to you easily, that you are successful, that you are worthy, that you can make money off of your creations or your passions. And when you align with this belief system and it comes true, what happens is the financial abundance starts to flow in response to that. It's not going to be floodgates. This isn't get rich quick. You know what I mean? But when you do the work, the abundance will start to flow in response to that.
So let me ask you a question, guys. Who here, when they want to listen to music, rocks a tape deck, a Walkman?
Who still plays cassette tapes? Better yet, who still plays, what are those other things?
8-tracks.
8-tracks.
Who here uses MySpace?
Who uses VCRs? Are you guys still using a Macintosh computer? Or like, I don't know, Windows 4?
Do you have a TV with like the big tube on the back of it?
Or like that first iPod, the huge iPod?
So
the Walkman.
The Walkman.
Wait, who's using a Zach Morris cordless cell phone?
So here's the point, guys. Your life has become modern as the modern world has evolved.
That's right.
You have upgraded your tape deck Walkman for, the
MP3 players and
Spotify
Spotify
on your smartphone,
DVD and on-demand movies, and
yeah,
Windows fucking 10. I don't even know what version they're on.
You've upgraded your tube TV.
Your Macintosh for a MacBook Air.
Yep, your tube TV is now flat screen. So here's the point, right?
Drum roll.
Why are you still operating in the world with beliefs that you forged when you were 10, 15?
Younger than that.
5.
1, 2. My beliefs were forged in 1979, 1980, 1981. You guys take it way back. Hop in your DeLorean. I gave you guys the DeLorean. We're time traveling. Why are you still operating on belief systems that were given to you 20, 25, 30, 40, 50 years ago?
Why?
I don't know what everybody's age is who's watching. So ask yourself that right now.
You're willing to upgrade all the aspects of your life. What you don't yet understand is that you are able to update your paradigms, your thought patterns, your processes that you use to interact with the world. You're able to update these just as readily as you update your iPhone when a new one comes out.
Right on. Imagine that.
And you do that by challenging yourself, challenging your thoughts.
So very quickly, before we get really because I didn't know I had a belief system surrounding money.
I'm going to cover that really quickly.
Well, that's what we're about to get into. Yeah, no, but go for it.
How many of us don't actually realize we have a belief system about money?
If you guys could see me, I'd be raising my hand because I didn't for a long time. I didn't realize I had a belief system around money until probably about 3 years ago. And then more recently, I didn't really understand how separate of a belief system it was until this last year.
So guys, I need to ask you a question. Are you ready? How can you change something that you don't even know you have?
Right. Boom, boom, boom. That's like fumbling around in the dark looking for the answer that you don't even know is there.
How can you address or update something that you don't know you have? You don't know there's an iPhone in your pocket. How do you know that you want the new one if you don't know that you have the current one?
Right. So you can't upgrade something until you understand what you're working with and where you're starting from. Okay, so very quickly, before we get on and into the belief systems, let's talk about something known as the lack and scarcity mindset.
Oh, don't.
Fear. Right? You guys, look, I'm going to tell you something right now.
Are you scared? You should be.
Lack and scarcity mindset. You guys, this is a marketing tactic. It is an advertising tactic. It is psychological warfare against consumers. I'm going to tell it to you like that because it's that real.
Mm-hmm.
The consumerist market is driven and it feeds on your fear of not having enough. And this goes beyond money. This goes to not being enough, not having enough, not doing enough. But right now we're talking about money. So
where did it come from initially? Let me tell you where it came from. It came from watching your parents interact with money.
Mm-hmm.
It came from your household where if you had 6 brothers and sisters and one income that barely made ends meet, and you had to fight with each other over who got to play with the toys.
Or never having snacks or treats or having to wear hand-me-down clothes.
Who got the best part of the roast dinner that your mother's just spent hours making.
Or like watching your parents fight over money because somebody spent too much.
This is where the lack and the scarcity mindset comes from.
And then, it gets compounded as you go out into society and you start consuming the advertising. The underlying thing of advertising is constantly telling you that there's not enough.
There's not enough. That's what you're being told. And the lack and scarcity mindset continues to grow, and you don't even know it's there because you don't know that there is a paradigm sitting below the surface powering your relationship to money.
Because you don't even know you have a belief system surrounding money, so how do you even know that there is a lack and scarcity mindset?
Uh-huh.
And we have a news flash for you. Lack and scarcity mindset is false. It is a fallacy.
Let's look at this.
It's propaganda.
Let's look at this. It is. Ready? Can you see this cursor? False. Evidence appearing real. Dun, 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 dun.
False evidence appearing real.
That is exactly what the lack and scarcity mindset is. And it is sold to you. It is sold to you every single day.
Hey, Lulu. Good to see you.
Lulu and Wormy, thanks for joining. So you're probably going to have to watch the start as a replay, but that's fine. Thank you for signing in.
So lack and scarcity mindset, you guys. That's it. It's time to dig now. Get your pencils out. Get your pens out. Jot down these questions. Mm-hmm. You will have. You'll be receiving the recorded video of this replay as well. You want to work through these questions, you guys. These are power questions. When you start writing these down and looking at your answers, your mind you're going to be going, oh my, oh dear.
Let me let you in on a little secret, guys. If you want powerful results in life, You have to ask powerful questions.
Right. Mind will seek out answers. So start asking yourself, what did you learn about money from your parents? Just flat out right now when I say that, what comes to mind for you guys? What's the first thing if I ask you, what did you learn about money from your parents? For me, it would be like they fought over money, irresponsibility. There was so much stress around money in my household that it was like, ugh, I'm good. I don't need money.
Right.
That's just me. What were your parents' habits like when it came to money? Start exploring this, because I'm willing to put money, haha, no pun intended, on the fact that you're going to see yourself repeating their habits.
Exactly that. So I know in my household growing up, my father worked diligently in his job and would bring an income in, and my mother, she would go out and she would do a lot of different careers and professions, trying to nail that one thing that would bring her in money and make her happy. And I know that the corgi's speaking up as well.
So, and yeah.
I know that in my household growing up, what we were talking about was my mother was spendthrift, and to a certain degree still is. To her, money has very little meaning. So if there's something that she wants and she has the money, she will part with the money. If somebody needs the money and she has it, without even thinking about herself and her own needs, she will give it on. She will pass it on. And I can tell you that this came from her father, my grandfather, who said, he was very wealthy, and he said, money is made round to go round. It's not made flat to stack.
Ooh.
And my mother carried that philosophy into her life. And I can tell you that that philosophy, without the financial means or the relationship with abundance or wealth to back it up, has time and time again put her into a position where she has ended up without money.
Uh-huh. So when you start seeing these patterns and you're able to look at it, you're able to say, wow, I was consumed by this mindset where I had to work, and I had to work really hard and slave away, to the point that my physical health and I was physically feeling the weight of the way that I was working, because I was constantly in fear of not being self-supporting, because I watched money ruin. Well, it was a big part of, the failing factors of my parents' marriage, the lack of communication through it, the stress, the tension that came around it, secrecy, when we would spend money we weren't supposed to, that I said to myself, okay, I'm never going to not be financially independent. And it was almost to a fault now. So here's some of you guys are already identifying.
Ashley, you just said you were told you can't take it with you when you die. You might as well spend it. Here's the thing. How many years do you plan on living from now until the time you die? I know that's how long is a piece of string question, but as far as loaded questions go, none of us plan on dying tomorrow. We're in this physical world for anywhere between 50 and 110 years, give or take, depending on how good your innings are. What happens if you spend all your money when you're 30 and you lived until you're 80?
Right. So there's, and that's part of abundance mindset, is also like what Chris just said. It's having a respectful, open relationship with the flow of money, and boundaries, knowing when to spend, when not to spend, making smart decisions, not being frivolous and generous to a point. We had a friend that got an inheritance, and I think she spent $70,000 within 6 months, giving it away to people and just throwing it around. And it was like, okay, well, that wasn't very smart. So, there's balance with all things. There has to be balance. So you start exploring these.
Mm-hmm. So anything that comes...
Blue money was a secret in your house. Mary said it doesn't grow on trees. These are all things that are affecting your money mindset now.
Anything that comes up for you in terms of an answer as you work through these questions is a block.
Yes, and we want you to post them in the Facebook group so we can talk to you about them. So ask yourself, were you rich, poor, comfortable? What were your parents' spending habits like? Did you feel safe and secure growing up?
Was there enough in your household?
Was there enough in your house? Were your needs met? What were you told or taught in regards to how you would get money? You know, for me, I was always told you had to work and earn it. There was no giving away freedom.
Mm-hmm. How do you live right now?
Mm-hmm.
And what would you do if you came into a bunch of money right now?
So the how do you live right now is powerful because we want you to look at where the patterns are surfacing and manifesting in your life. So actually getting honest about, are you in a bunch of debt? Are you living paycheck to paycheck? Are you stressing about money? Do you, spend compulsively on is money an issue for you? Whatever it is, get honest with yourself.
Yes.
Things are going to come out as you answer these questions.
Absolutely. So guys, this last question, what would you do if you came into a bunch of money right now? I want to cover that briefly because you may have heard a statistic that 10% of the population controls 90% of the wealth on this planet. What you may not have heard is that they did a study where they proved conclusively, time and again, that if they did a complete redistribution of planetary wealth so that everybody had the same, within 2 years, that same 10% of the people would have 90% of the wealth once again. Now, the reason I bring that up is because this question is super powerful. If you came into a bunch of money right now, what would you do with it? How would it affect your behavior, your mannerisms? And this comes down to your relationship with abundance, with money. If you have a current relationship with money where you have an aversion to it, you view it as an evil necessity, then if you came into a bunch of money, I can guarantee that within a matter of months, it would be gone.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to make it work for you. You wouldn't be able to multiply it, and you wouldn't be able to hold on to it.
Go ahead.
And this has been proven time and again.
Right. And if you don't value it or not value it, but if you don't have a respectful, open, flowing, healthy relationship with it, it's not going to last. You might get money and then you'll be broke again. So finding and asking yourself, do you have an ability to believe that your needs will be provided for is very much root chakra work. So what we want you guys to do is take these questions and start working with them. Start exploring them and start writing about the habits that you are living by and the patterns that you're carrying from your upbringing. And you know what? That's the challenge point, you guys. It's going to take work. Are you willing to do some work to reprogram your money beliefs? Because it's going to take some effort.
Yes.
There are only so many things we can offer you and tell you, and then we can hold the door open and you actually have to do the work to step through the door. So that's what we're asking you to do. We're giving you questions here. Take them and work with them over the next few days. Okay. Now we're going to do a little exercise. So you guys see some photos in front of you on the screen, right? One's a really sweet house. Like, I would love to live there. It looks like it has a moat. One is some yachts sailing around the Greek islands. One is, some overwater bungalows, probably over there in the Indian Ocean somewhere, Maldives maybe. And one is another girl just looking happy, free, joyous, right, at ease, comfortable. Now, all of these images appeal to me. But once upon a time, I would have looked at that house and been like, oh, I don't need all that.
That's gaudy. Who needs that much
house?
But
you know what? Right now, I'll be like, I'll take that house as a second vacation home for sure. Because I've completely changed my mindset. And I realized that just because I'm a beautiful, genuine, generous, spiritual being on this earth doesn't mean that I have to live like a Buddhist monk and I have to wear burlap robes and eat rice and live in a monastery. Not true. So I want you guys to say right now, I open myself to the flow of abundance. Say it out loud. Yeah. So look at these images, okay? And whatever one appeals to you, maybe you have an image of your head that appeals to you more. Whatever it is, connect with an image right now about something that depicts your idea of wealth, of comfort, of having a lot of money, of something you would either have or be doing, a feeling you would have, okay? And I want you to really connect with this vision.
So I would have looked at these images at one stage, and every single image on this screen, I would have been like, looks nice, but I don't want it. And I can tell you now, if somebody even back then had have said, I'm going to fly you to the Maldives and you're going to spend a week in an overwater bungalow eating fresh fish, seafood, and fresh fruit, there's no way I would have rejected that. Absolutely no way I would have rejected it. The reason I can tell you that these images, I would have said at one point, they don't mean anything to me, is because I had so many blocks in place surrounding money that I wouldn't have thought it was possible for me to obtain that, and it became sour grapes. I can't reach that, so I don't want it.
Oh, boom, 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 boom. So yes, okay, now connect with one of these visions that we're saying is your idea, and I want you to just sit with it for a moment. I want you to feel it. I want you to smell it. I want you to call it into your inner reality as if it was real. Maybe you're on a yacht. Maybe you're in a big house. Maybe you're standing by the beach and you just feel free. Whatever it is, guys, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is, connect with it. And now I want you to imagine having that in your life, whatever it is. Smell it, taste it, see it, feel it. And now I want you to connect with the feelings that are underlying you having that thing. So if it's, the girl in the top that looks extremely free, what are you feeling there? If it's the beautiful house that you can vacation in and entertain in and invite your family to come spend time with you in, what's the feeling underneath having that thing? If it's the yacht in the Greek islands, what's the feeling that goes with that? Is it happiness? Is it freedom? Is it well-being? Is it self-love? Is it success? Whatever that feeling is, connect with it. Okay?
Or on the other side of that coin, are you feeling aversion?
So then now ask yourself, as you're trying to connect with that, what is your mind doing? Like Chris just said, is your mind creating some type of doubt, some type of bitterness, some type of aversion to it? While you're in there imagining yourself lounging on this beautiful deck by this moat pool, is your mind, some voice in your mind being like, yeah, right. While you're connecting with the feeling of this girl free and clear and open and hanging out on the beach at sunset, is your mind going, yeah, but I can't feel like that? Monkey mind distraction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. While you're envisioning yourself jumping off this beautiful pool in the Indian Ocean on this deck, is your mind saying, well, yeah, that'd be nice, but I'm never going to get there? Do you have a negative Nancy naysayer inner narrative happening? Because if you do, guys, that's a sure sign that there's money blocks there, because not believing it's possible is a block in itself.
Absolutely.
Believing that you are, and that's why we ask you, what are your belief systems around money? One of the first things you want to journal about is, what is my belief system around money? And that's where you're going to start to explore, oh, exactly, Lulu, if wishes were horses. So exactly that, that's a block. So.
But see, here's the reality of that very statement. You're able to look at your current situation and say, I'm not going to obtain that if wishes were horses, right? You put blocks in place, you have this current perspective when it comes to money, and you're unable to step beyond that.
Right.
You've created a block, you create your situation surrounding the parameters of that block without even knowing what the block is, without knowing where or how it was formed, and then created your life based on that particular model.
And then your reality proves to be that over and over and over again. So over and over and over again, you will live out the reality that, yes, if wishes were horses, and you'll never be at the Maldives, you'll never be the freedom person on the beach. You'll never be sailing the Greek islands, because as long as you're telling yourself that something's not possible, you are solidifying that block.
Mm-hmm.
So first step, identifying the beliefs, right? And exactly like we talked about, admitting where we are and figuring out where we're working from. And the next step is considering that an alternate reality is possible.
Mm-hmm.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, you guys, how often do you worry about money?
How often do you obsess about it?
Do you ever lose sleep over it?
How often are you creating stress around it?
Do you ever get angry, feel resentful, feel bitter when you see other people with money? Does your head ever feel like this guy when it comes to money?
Have a look at this picture.
Like, look at that. Do you feel like that when it comes to money mindset? Do you look at people who have, tons of money and have an aversion or an anger or resentment or bitterness? Do you sit around worrying about whether or not you're going to have enough? 7 or 8, Ash, okay, And then when you ask yourself, how often do you actually go hungry and you're not able to pay your bills?
Mm-hmm.
When you get out of the way, does things usually flow and things work themselves out? I mean, because I don't think any of you guys are homeless, right? I mean, I think you guys all have roofs over your head and food to eat, and it's not about a gratitude thing, but it's about realizing that when we get out of the way, our needs are often provided for us.
Mm-hmm. So
back to this stressful environment we're creating.
Looking at this environment that this guy has created and this chaos that's surrounding him and his mind and the stress on his face. Now, I want you to imagine that our internal landscape is water. And if there's a hurricane ripping across the surface of that water, you could drop something as large as the Empire State Building into that water, and it's not going to make a difference because there is that much turmoil across the surface, you wouldn't notice it.
Oh.
Whereas if the surface of the water is still like a pond and you drop even the smallest pebble in there, you're going to see the ripples. So I want you to think about that when you're talking about trying to find your blocks in amongst all of this right here.
Right.
How are you going to effectively find and map an internal landscape when it looks like this on this image? You're absolutely not going to be able to do it.
And when you think about this environment that you're creating, okay, Lulu, my worry is not being able to obtain money to see my kids, and it makes everyday life hard. Okay, but do you realize that by worrying about it, you're wasting energy? And that's part of the mindset too, you guys. We're all so trained to worry about things that we have no power over. What if you took all of that energy that you were wasting on worrying and you put it towards a good cause, like learning a new skill, making you more valuable, taking a new training that makes you more marketable and able to obtain a higher wage. I don't know, reading something that's going to empower you to maybe, there's all of these things. And instead we spend all this time and all this energy worrying over stuff we can't control, when that energy could be directed towards things that would be creating abundance for us.
Exactly.
That's part of getting out of our own way. So when you're creating this ugly, chaotic environment, what makes you think money's going to be attracted to that? That money's running the hell away from you.
Because money is energy. And if you're pouring energy into the things you don't want or that you are afraid of, that's where that energy's going.
That's right. You're attracting the energy that you're creating within. So when you are living in a lack mindset, a fear mindset, an anxiety mindset, a worry mindset, a mindset that says there's not enough, oh my God, I need money, and you're driven by this need and this fear of not having the money is going to stay away.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to flow in the way that abundance should flow. It doesn't matter how many rituals you do, how many, money tools we buy. You know, we all want to buy, like, I love our Fedzonite and citrine for manifestation and abundance, but we could buy all the damn manifestation crystals in the world.
We could pay for all the wealth coaches in the world to show us different ways of making money.
Until you create the environment, the money's not going to be attracted.
And you do that within yourself, not outside of yourself.
So you got to raise the vibe so that the money is attracted, because you got to think abundance responds to a high vibrational environment. So how do we raise the vibe?
Boom.
Heal the root chakra. Some of you guys are already doing that. You know, a lot of you guys are already working through the chakra courses with us, right? How else do you do it?
You rewrite your money beliefs, and you do that the same way that you upgrade your iPhone. You do it the same way you buy a flat screen TV. You do it the same way you delete your MySpace account and go to Facebook. You rewrite your money beliefs by looking at that which no longer serves you and addressing that and releasing it.
You recode, you reprogram.
Now that is not as easy as it sounds, because a lot of these old beliefs sit in our shadows.
That's right.
We are not programmed as humans to be able to address our own shadows.
Not at all. Not at all.
That's something that we need coaching surrounding.
So you can use things like affirmations, and, affirmations work to make new neural pathways. So when you challenge your old beliefs and you create, what's it called? Cognitive dissonance.
Mm-hmm.
And you start, so when your mindset kicks up and you're like, oh God, okay, money, I don't want to pay for this thing. And you can stop yourself and you can dig into that and you can say, why don't I want to pay for this thing? Okay, because I'm afraid that I'm not going to have money. So that's me living in fear. So when you start to challenge that, you start forming new neural pathways. And that's what affirmations can work to do. Exactly
that. Now, self-investment, guys, is absolutely massive.
So important.
If you are working from paradigms of block and lack and fear-based mindset, you are not going to part with anything. Now, what that creates is a stagnant pool.
Oh, yeah. You're not going to have any money flowing in because you're not letting any money flow out.
Super massive. The reason that it works when you invest in yourself is because you are making a statement to the universe that says, I am not afraid.
That's right. So imagine that, right? That's what that's saying. And what happens is it's an investment, right? That's why it's called an investment, because investments have a return. So it's just like for me and Chris, when we can't grow a business if we're not willing to invest in it. If we're not willing to invest our time, energy, and money into Hug Your Chaos is going to stay a tiny little, hobby that we want it to be a brand that helps empower people. In order to get it to that level, we have to self-invest. Mm-hmm. We have to constantly self-invest in ourselves as coaches and as individuals so that we keep growing. That's the important. Self-investment allows an action to happen that the universe then responds to, and that comes back and it's paid in full force. What if you started thinking about, okay, so if I invest in myself and I do this thing, this is going to make me a more empowered person, which is going to allow me to stand in the space where I can take this action, and this action. It's like me with yoga teacher training, right? I had to make a financial investment, but I said to myself, the financial investment is going to pay off because it's going to allow me to have another option for income. It's going to allow me and help me to empower other people. And it's going to be a way that I can switch up what I do and use it to generate income when I need to.
Exactly that.
So it's a self-investment.
It's about moving beyond the blocks that prevent that from happening, because many of the blocks are suggesting that it's frivolous, it's spendthrift, it's irresponsible to put this money into something. But only by putting the money into that thing are you able to say, my block has no more weight over me, and I believe that this process is going to unfold. Right. That's how you stop the poverty mindset.
You have to work at it, you guys, and it's not going to happen overnight. Just like with any beliefs, you have to work at them. And another big thing is contrary action. You can practice generosity. Guys, practicing generosity when you feel like being the most stingy, it sends a massive message to the universe that says, I am ready for abundance. Because why is the universe going to respond to you with financial abundance when everything that you're doing is telling the universe that you are stingy and you are afraid? So you're not going to get more money. If you're holding on to what you have, you're not going to get more. Think about it like that. So there's all of these things, you guys. And of course,
boom, boom, boom. So we are extending this webinar to be a 30-day Master Your Money Mindset program. If you have liked the things that you have heard in this hour with us, then we have structured an entire course.
Month around it. Because you guys, there's only so much we can do in 1 hour, and there's only so much we can do for free. And I challenge you guys right now, if this is the point where you would usually sign off, hold on, because we have more to talk to you about. And it's fine. There's no pressure here.
There's no obligation.
So you don't have to worry about your obligation. You don't have to run away because you can't say no. Just hold on and sit here because there's going to be a really big moment of growth in this next slide for you.
Yeah. But before we get to that, right here, you can take what you're learning and practice it by yourself.
You absolutely can.
You can hold yourself accountable and you can do the work yourself. The question is, if you can, why have you not? And I can tell you that it's probably got nothing to do with laziness. It's probably more to do with the fact that you didn't even know until an hour ago that you had mindsets around money.
That's right.
You had belief structure around money. If you didn't know that you had a belief structure around money, how are you going to know what that belief structure is? How are you going to know where along the timeline the blocks were put in place?
Oh, yeah.
How are you going to know what actually forged your current opinion of money or financial abundance if you didn't even know until an hour ago that you had a mindset about money?
Exactly that. Right. You didn't even know, Ashley. So, there's that to consider, you guys. We're offering you, and what I want to challenge you guys to look at right now is that if you're like, okay, I don't want to hear a sales pitch. Oh God, I did this free workshop. I knew they were going to try to sell me something. You seriously need to look at why. For your own good, look at why right now. Look at why you have that aversion and look at what's going on in your head, because this is a real opportunity for you to achieve some growth. Okay? So if you guys are interested in the course, Chris will talk a little bit more. I'm going to drop a link in the comments here. You can go and you can check it out. You guys, we're practically giving it away to you.
So 30 days, guys, we're breaking it into 4 weeks, and it's to dig deep into subconscious belief patterns. During this time, we're going to do what I call the personal trainer effect. Now, why do I call it that? Because at some point you've started on a New Year's Day with a resolution that you were going to get into shape. If you didn't take certain measures to do that, if you didn't join a gym and buy a personal training pack and show up to your personal training sessions and be held accountable to your fitness and your diet, then your New Year's resolution was thrown away within a matter of a month or two after taking that on. So as part of this program, we become that personal trainer effect.
Guys, we're there to coach you, to mentor you, to prod you to look where you don't want to look, to dig deep. We're there to hold you accountable. We're there to challenge you. And we're there to show you how to create a new system of beliefs so that the abundance can start flowing in your life. It's hard to do this work on your own. And we're not just saying that because we're like, oh, enroll in our program. You can go ahead and try, but it's like Chris just said with the personal trainer thing. You might be really excited for 3 days, but you know what? I bet you by the end of next week, if you haven't made an investment into yourself, you're probably making excuses because you're not putting any value in something that you haven't invested in.
We're absolutely not interested in what happens over the next 12 hours for you after watching a G-Up slide show.
Right, because you're all pumped.
After being pumped and inspired, we don't care what you do in the next 12 hours. It's what happens 4 days, 5 days, a week, 2 weeks after this that concerns us. And that's why we're offering this. Now, the investment isn't for us. There's no way we can get rich off $97. Okay, even if 1,000 people signed up, it's still not going to last that long.
Guys, that's not even $25 a week. People spend more on coffee than that. People spend more getting their nails done.
The reason that we put a monetary value on this is because it's part of your healing process. It's part of removing the blocks. It's by saying, I am worth investing into something that is going to dig in to my paradigms, my forged belief patterns, and help me rewrite them. So we have the flashlight, you have the shadows. Is that not a match made in heaven?
Right. So are you willing to get in there and do it? And do you want the help to do it? You have to make a small investment in yourself. So think about it like this, right? You pay $97 for a 30-day course with us. By the end of that 30 days, this isn't a get rich quick scheme. This isn't, you're going to be making, I'm not going to feed you some bullshit and tell you you're going to be making 6 figures by the end of this 30 days. It's not the way. By the end of this 30 days, you are going to have shining insight by the way that you approach money, how you block yourself from money, and you're going to have a brand new belief system in regards to money. And I'm willing to bet that probably halfway through the program, 2 weeks in, definitely by the end, you're going to start seeing shifts. You're going to start seeing actions occurring, which then have results that are bringing financial abundance to you.
Exactly that.
Your mindset is going to change. You're going to free yourself from the craziness and the stress and the anxiety. And, the choice is yours. So the link is there in the comments. For a limited time, guys, it's $97. We're not done yet. We're going to do an exercise still, too. So stay with me. So if you guys are interested in that, there's a link. Sign up. And you know what? For those of you that are watching the replay, the link will be good for you for 1 hour after you watch the replay. You click on the link, you'll have a timer. If the timer expires, price goes back to full price, and that's that. So this is like a gift from us to you, you guys, because we want to empower you to be able to live the life that you're, destined and intended to live.
Again, let's be clear just very quickly that this is not going to teach you how to make money. This is going to address your deep-seated blocks that are preventing you from doing that. That is the difference.
Right. And that's why we see it about, so much online where if we were to post something about how, we're going to take you from broke to 6 figures in 60 days, right? It would be like, blah, 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 blah. People would be signing up. And then you say, we're going to take you in there. We're going to get in there. We're going to do some work and we're going to uncover your blocks. And everybody's like, oh, no. It's like that little meme you see going around, right? The comic, and the guy's like on the stage and he's like, who wants change? And everybody in the audience is like, me. And then he says, who wants to change? And everybody puts their hands down. So exactly that. Mm-hmm. You guys have some time to think about it. If it's right for you, let us know. Is there anything else you wanted to say? I'm just going to tell you guys, you guys know we over deliver on everything. We're not in this for the money. So you will get your value. You will get your money. And if it's a concern for you, people who have money blocks generally have concerns about whether or not they're getting the value that they're putting in. We understand that. And we can tell you your investment will pay off.
Exactly that. Guys, like we said right at the start of this presentation, we aren't money coaches. It's not the focus of what we want to do. It's not the focus of what we do, and it's not the focus of what we want to be doing. The reason that we have done this is because we know that our map and our template works. We know that it works on the same level for abundance as it does for anything that you want along your own heart
path.
We
are mindset coaches. So you know what? We can apply that specifically to money. You spend 30 days with us. There's a lot of group time that we'll be digging deep and getting in there. And, the choice is yours.
Yeah. When we saw that there was this gaping need in our group for people to overcome blocks within themselves in their mindset to abundance, we really wanted to help. So that's why we wrote this program, and that's why we're delivering this, and that's why you're watching this.
Right. Exactly that. This is by no means going to be our flagship enterprise, but that's that. We want to empower you guys to start living the lives that you're intended to be, abundance is our birthright.
Exactly that.
So now I want you guys, we're going to sit and we're going to go over a practice. And I understand we're all excited now. Everybody's jacked up and ready to go make money and go sort out their blocks and go journal on your journal prompts, right? So it's probably going to be a bit of a challenge to meditate. So I'm going to more teach you guys a practice. And I'm also going to drop a link in the comments for a meditation that you guys can work with. So if you guys want to sit in meditation, and what you want to do is you want to get those beliefs that you wrote about, right? You want to write yourself some affirmations that have to do with your specific blocks. Okay? You want to write yourself I am affirmations that are worded beginning with I am. And you want to, we can just practice right now. So you're going to get comfortable in a meditative posture. You're going to get yourself into meditation. You're going to put on some 432 hertz abundance music that's going to penetrate your mind on a subconscious level. You're going to do your breathing. You're going to get yourself present in your body. You're going to bring your I am affirmations that you've written specific to your blocks, specific to the beliefs that you're trying to rewrite. And you're going to sit with those, and you're going to chanting. We're going to use sound as well. We're going to work with the sound of ah, the sound of creation. Ah is the sound of the creator. It is the sound of the energy that created the universe. So the way that you work with ah meditation is you inhale through your nose, and let's practice doing it together now. As you exhale, you're going to chant ah. I want you guys to do it. Are you doing it with me? And as you work with the sound of ah, I want you to imagine it originating in your root chakra. And as you let the ah go through your body, feel it. Feel the vibration moving up your chakras, coming out through your throat, out through your third eye as you send it out into the universe. Let's try one together. Feel it. And as you work with the ah meditation, I want you to start incorporating your I am affirmations. So you will speak your I am affirmation, and you will say, I am wealthy. I am abundant. I attract money with ease and flow. I am worthy of having financial abundance. Whatever it is for you, you're going to incorporate those I am statements, and you're going to say them, and you're going to feel them in every cell of your being. You're going to feel that I am statement. And then after you make that I am statement, you're going to insert your ah meditation twice. So you're going to put on some music like you hear here. You're going to speak your I am affirmation, and then you're going to insert your ah twice. And as you work with the ah, I want you to connect with the feeling of the I am statement. Bring that feeling into your body, up through your heart, up through your throat. Send it out to the universe through your third eye as you chant your ahs. Okay, guys, this is a super simple practice. So you can take it and you can incorporate it. And I want you to start working with it. Journal on those belief systems, create your affirmations, and then start working with the affirmations and the chanting. Do it for at least 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes in the evening when you can really penetrate your subconscious mind. That's the powerful thing, guys. When you start penetrating these beliefs into your subconscious, your physical reality will start to change in response to what's going on in your subconscious mind. So I hope that you guys will work with that. Yeah, no, thank you guys for tuning in, everybody. So definitely, it's a simple practice, but it's powerful. And I promise if you start working with it, you will start seeing things change as you permeate your subconscious mind. So I hope you found that helpful. It's a powerful practice that I still use every morning and night. With the I Am meditations, I make a practice of, and I do internal chanting in my mind. So I'm going to leave you guys with a quote. The successful person makes a habit of doing what the failing person doesn't like to do. That means taking action, showing up, investing in yourself.
And look what Thomas Edison was able to do. He invented light.
Right? He was a magic MMF. So as always, you guys, thank you guys for joining us. There's our links to our website, our Facebook group. If you're not in your Facebook group, come join us, because we would like to be having conversations with you guys about the belief systems that you've incorporated in this webinar. And there's one last time, the link for hugyourabundance.com. And again, like as always with anything, guys, just because you sat in this webinar and the webinar was a free workshop, you're not on your own now. Interact with us in the group, journal about the questions. Let's have the discussion in the group. If you're ready to do the work, we're there to guide you.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us for the last hour and a bit.
Yes, guys, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure. We will see you guys soon. Much love and namaste.